Hey, what's up? This is your chess friend, Jake from Chess Nakama. Welcome back to another game. This game we are covering today is, by the way, an example that if you are young, playing under time pressure, and facing a seasoned veteran, you're always prone to getting tricked if you aren't careful. This is exactly what happened in the game between the FIDE Grand Swiss champion from the Netherlands, Anish Giri, and Yağız Kaan Erdoğmuş, the top 14-year-old from Turkey, who has gained many fans though by exceeding expectations in this tournament. This is round 11 of the Tata Steel Masters 2026. Anish Giri is playing white, while Yağız Kaan Erdoğmuş is playing black. D4 by Anish, D5 by Erdoğmuş, C4, the Queen's Gambit, E6, declined by Erdogmus. Now white can go knight e3 here, or knight c3, or even capture the pawn on d5. But Anish goes for knight f3, and the knight f6 by Erdogmus. Knight c3 now by Anish. Bishop e7. Now you could bring this bishop to b4 and pin this knight to the king as black, but Erdogmus was probably worried that white could also go bishop g5 and pinning this knight to the queen. Now black is not careful here. Let's just say queen goes to d7, leaving this knight here. Then this knight will be taken with the bishop, and black recaptures with a pawn on this pawn structure right here. It's not looking good for black. So here Domus played bishop e7, bishop f4 by Anish, castled, e3 by Anish, looking to recapture back with his light square bishop should the d5 pawn by black captures the c4 pawn. c5 by black, d takes c5, bishop takes c5, and here queen c2 by white. Black develops his pieces by going knight c6, a3, stopping any idea by black's knight from jumping into d4. Queen a5 by black, pinning this knight to the king. And rook d1 by white here. You might ask, why not play as white here? Why not play instead of rook d1? Why not play b4 and before forking the queen and the bishop? Well, this does not really work for white, as bishop just captures the pawn, and if he captured back with a pawn, then black's queen takes the rook with a tempo. So white decided to go rook d1, just looking to reposition his rook right here to the semi-open file. And black goes bishop e7, avoiding the b4 pin. Bishop e2, Anish looking to castle kingside. And here Erdogmus started to attack knight e4, pressuring his knight. C takes d5, knight takes c3, b takes c3, he takes d5, and castle by Anish Giri. Black continued to play bishop f6. Really here you might be seeing this pawn as a free pawn for black, but actually it's not. If you take this with a bishop, white can just go rook a1, pinning this bishop to the queen. And if black tries to defend this by going b5 and b4 next, well, white can go b3, double attacks this bishop right here, say b4 anyway by black. then white can just capture with a pawn and black captures with a queen, hoping to exchange queens and recapture with the bishop. And maybe this is a better position for black, but no, it's actually not. Queen takes d3, and black just lost a piece and completely winning by white here. So instead of doing that, black decided to go on bishop f6. And Anish, instead of defending the c3 pawn, he goes c4 instead. Black takes c4, and Anish recaptures with bishop. And in this position right here, Erdogmus took so much time here before he made a move. Actually, he took like 40 minutes before playing bishop f5. Now, he only had 47 minutes left on his time here. Anish continued with queen a2, bishop e4 by Erdogmus, looking to capture this knight here and damage a pawn, a white on the king side. Anish avoided it by going knight d2 and attacking the bishop on e4. Bishop goes to g6. Bishop b3 now by white. Knight e5. Knight d5 banish. And bishop d3. Attacking the rook. And here Anish thought that this move right here, the bishop d3, is actually a mistake by Erdogmus. So Anish thought of taking advantage of it by taking the knight on e5. Erdogmus recaptures with the bishop. And here, this is actually a trick by Anish. Anish played knight f3, tricking Erdogmus to capture the rook on f1, which Erdogmus did. And in this position right here, actually after taking the bishop on e5, Anish thought that he had the advantage here, but he was wrong. According to the engine, black is a little bit better here. Black is playing with both two rooks here, and the bishop, while white has one rook, bishop, and a knight. Okay, then Erdogmus continued to play bishop a6, which is, now this is a mistake. Before the bishop, d3 was not a mistake, and Anish Giri thought it was a mistake. It was actually not a mistake. Now this bishop a6 was the mistake, according to the engine right here. The engine was saying go to b5 instead of b6. So what's the idea of going b5 here? So let's say white attacks the f7 pawn by capturing it. Then black can go bishop e8 and protects everything here. And white cannot continue the attack here. He can only go, let's just say he goes bishop d6, check. King slides to h8. And he captures a pawn. Black can simply go to queen c3. Black can simply play queen c3, and he is good here. He is a little bit better here according to the engine. Even though he's down 2 pawns, but he's up on exchange. So yeah, but Erdogmus played bishop a6. And Anish Giri continued for the attack. Erdogmus played queen c3. Anish Giri played h4, but actually there was a better move here by white. Anish Giri could have gone knight g5 check, king h8, Bishop takes the b7 pawn. Bishop takes bishop. And here white can go queen b1, attacking the bishop on b7. At the same time, there's mate in one here on h7 if black is not careful here. And black can defend this by going g6. White captures the bishop. And there's still mate in one here. So black has to cover and defend with his queen. Queen g7. And here white's queen just captured black's queen, and then king captures the queen. And we have a fork here. King goes f7. Knight takes the rook. King takes the knight. And white is going to the endgame with 2 pawns up. And according to the evaluation here, he is so much better, and black is losing this game. Anish Giri instead played h4. And then g6 by Erdogmus, making space for his king. Bishop e6 now, making way for this rook to go. Rook d7. Erdogmus takes the knight on f7. Bishop takes h7. King h8. Queen e6 now. White's queen is advancing near black's king and is going for attack. The black queen that is darting this diagonal should not leave this diagonal right here, because if he leaves, then there's mate in one. So yeah, Erdogmus played bishop b5, defending this d7 square for the rook. Rook instead goes to rook d4. King c1 by Erdogmus. King h2. Queen c7 check. And here the rook covers rook f4. And there's no way to check the white's king here for black. So Erdogmus played queen c3, defending against the diagonal right here as there is mate in one. And here Anish Giri played queen e7, and in this position right here, Erdogmus resigned. So what can you do here? How do you continue here as black? Because this is totally winning for white. It's just say you play queen g7, and white can just take the b7 pawn, the while attacking the rook and the bishop. Let's say you counterattack. You go rook f8. The while attacks the bishop. Should the white's queen captures his b5 bishop, you capture this bishop. Okay, white's queen captures the bishop. Rook takes the bishop, and here we have queen e8 check. And whichever piece you cover, queen takes the rook. And let's just say you cover with a queen, and then queen takes the rook. It's GG for black here. So there's nothing here that the black can do. So yeah, that's the game. This was a bitter loss for Yağız Kaan Erdoğmuş. Had he had more time there, he could have calculated the line thoroughly and would likely have found the superior. Bishop b5 instead of that mistake. Bishop a6. Well, you can't really blame him though. It just goes to show that mistakes happen even at the highest level of chess. As for Anish, he mentioned in his interview that a friend of him who had previously played Erdogmus told him the youngster had fallen for a similar trick before in their match. So Anish kept that in mind, believing he could provoke an error with the exchange sacrifice. However, he didn't think that after bishop b5, instead of that mistake, bishop a6, Erdogmus would actually be better according to the engine. That bishop a6 mistake was truly the turning point of the game there, allowing Anish to successfully impose his attack and eventually win the game. So yeah, that's all for today. I hope you all learned something from this game. Thank you for watching, and have fun playing chess.